Am I audible to you, Jawahar?
Yes, Niga ma'am, you're audible.
Shall we start the session?
1 minute, ma'am. Just waiting for the mentor, Shobana. I will confirm within 1 minute.
Sure.
Hello, Niga ma'am.
Yes, Jawahar.
Uh, just wait for 2 minutes, ma'am. Mentor is logging in. Logging.
Okay.
Niga ma'am, can you give me access for the chat box also?
The chat has been disabled for everyone. Like it's not the option from the backend itself. So that's why it's not visible here.
Okay, fine. But I want to give some question for the students in the end of the session. So,
Can you please share in the Q&A section? It would
uh,
be visible to all.
no, ma'am. QA section also not visible for me, ma'am.
Okay, let
So
me just
while I am in attendees, it is visible. When I have added to the panelist, it is not visible.
let me check. I'll just assign you meanwhile the privilege.
Okay, thank you. Nega ma'am,
Yes, Jawahar.
ma'am, Shobana ma'am is in attendees. Please add him to the
Okay,
panelist.
let me check. Can you please raise your hand? No, I still can't see. Okay, got it. I'm adding you to the attendees list. Oh, sorry, to the panelist.
Yes. Hello.
Hi, Shobna, are you audible to you?
Hi. Yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am.
Oh,
Now I'm in panelist. Okay.
so I have assigned you the presenter access. We may start with the session now. Meanwhile, I'll just look for the Q&A privilege. So once again, thank you so much everyone for joining in for today's session. We will continue our session from the last topic itself. If there is any issue, query, any doubt you may have, you can share in the Q&A section itself, and we will take up in the end. So over to you, Shah. Thank you.
Hello.
Yes, Shobna.
Yes, ma'am. Shall I start now?
Yeah.
Okay. Hello. Good afternoon to all. So what about the last session? The last session is static variable and then static method. Okay. So first we are going to refresh everything. So what is a static variable and then static method? Because this session also we are continuing that static variable and then static reference. So for that reason, I'm going to refer those things. So what is static variable and then static method? Okay. So
This meeting is being recorded.
So static variable means, so I'm going to create object. All the object is sharing the same variable means that is called static variable. So let's see sample program for static variable. So now I'm going to create one class. So class and then class name. I have to mention that class name. So class name is user defined. You will give any other name. Here I'm going to declare the variable a equal to 10. So whatever you have to declare inside the class, so it's considered as a static variable. So inside the class, I'm going to define one function def and then get, and then one function is that I'm going to add s.a. So whenever you have to access the static variable using class name only, sample dot a equal to sample dot a plus 1. Okay. So after that, I'm going to create object for that class s equal to sample, and then so how to access s dot get. Okay. I'm going to save my program. So I'll give another name. Inside the C drive, I'm going to store things inside. Save my program. I'm going to run modules. So because I'm going to display something, then only display. So here I'm going to use print and then sample dot a. Okay, so I'm going to run my program, run module. You'll get 11. Okay, because here I'm initializing value because I'm initializing value is 10. So 10 plus 11, 10 plus 1, 11 will be displaying, correct? So after that, I'm going to create object for the same class. So S1, we can create n number of objects for the same class. S1 equal to sample, that is my class. Okay, so here I'm going to access the same function, S1 dot get function. So again, I'm going to run the same program. So what is that? So what is the last value for get function? 11. After that, the value is automatically incremented. If it is static variable means the value will be automatically incremented. So whenever you had to create the new object, the value is adding for each object. Suppose I'm not mentioning that self variable means here, so I'm not mentioning that static variable means every time the value will be displaying 11, 11, 11. Okay, so let me see about that program also. If it is, I'm not mentioning static variable means def, and then I'm going to use another one function. This is the self variable. Okay, so s dot a1 equal to 90. Here I'm going to display s dot a1 equal to s dot a1 plus 1. Okay, after that I'm going to display that value, print s dot a1. So the same program I'm going to call the another function, then my function name is get1. So s dot get1, and then so here also I'm going to use s dot get1. Okay. Okay, so before itself, non-static variable. For my identification, I'm just to give a message. So this is a non-static variable that I'm mentioning. I'm going to run my program. Look at the non-static variable 11. Again, the 11 will be displaying. Every time the 11 only displaying. If it is static variable means the value is incremented by 11, 12. Okay. So that is static variable. And then another one is static method is a. So what is static method means? So now I'm going to write my program. What is static? What is static method? So this is static variable. Static variable, whenever you have to mention the static variable, you can uses the class name dot variable name. Now I'm going to use the static method. Static method means so class. So what is the normal method means? If I'm mentioning class method means sample, I'm going to define one class method means def, and then you have to mention that function name data1. Inside that you have to mention self variable. If it is any other function, it contains self variable means, so that is called class method. Okay, so self, after that I had to mention, just I'm going to print hi. Okay, so now I'm going to create object for that class is equal to sample. How to access s dot data1. Okay, so now I'm going to run my program. Now I'm going to run my program. So how I will be displaying, correct? Because this is not a static method. Now I'm going to use a static method. So if it is static method means, so I'm going to define static method. So how to define static method means def, that's the keyword, and then you have to mention that function name. So inside I'm not mentioning anything. Okay, if I want to access the static method means you no need for create object for accessing the static method. Using class name itself we can access. So what is our class name? So my class name is sample, so we can access sample dot data1. This content a1 means, sorry, So I had to mention the name because the function overriding is there. So I'm mentioning this one. Okay. So this is a difference between normal method and then class method and then static method. So if any other method inside your class it contains self argument means that is the class method. So you have to access that method means you should be create object for the class, then object dot function name. So that is the class method to access. If it is static method means it doesn't contain self argument. So we can easily find out. So that is the static method. How to access the static method means using class name itself. So what's my class name? Sample dot data to. Okay. So this is the difference between normal method and then static method, and then we have got an idea for what is static variable and then non-static variable. Okay. So these are we has in the last session, and then what about the today's session means? So relationship. So today's session is I'm continuing today's session. What is the relationship between the two classes? Okay. So what is inheritance? So this is the relation and description. So what is inheritance means I'm going to relate to classes. Inheritance means nothing but to acquiring data from one class to another class. So the class variable or function, whatever it is, to access in another class automatically. So if it is private, non-private variable only, you can access another class. So that is inheritance. So later we'll see about the entire concept about inheritance. And aggregation. Aggregation means when one object owns another object, but they both have independent life cycle. Correct? So one object is, so there are two different objects is there that is not independent. So that is called aggregation. For example, customer has an address, even if the customer has no more, there may be other customer in that address. So address continue to exist even after a customer is no more. Correct? The customer is no more, the address is stay there. Correct? So that is aggregation. And composition means, so composition means is related to two classes. So it's based on one classes that will be throughout of the second classes. So that is composition. When one object owns other object, but they both have the same life cycle. Okay, the college has department. If the college closes, the department also closed. Correct? So let me see about the example for the aggregation. Hello? Hello? Ma'am, my voice is audible? Hello, ma'am. Ma'am, my voice is audible for you.
Yes, it is audible, but it's lagging in between.
Sorry, ma'am, your voice is breaking. So
Yeah,
everything is
your voice is better now, but it's bit lagging in between. Maybe due to network issue, I guess. Rest, it's fine.
okay. Okay. So there are two different classes in that program, and then customer class and then address class. Okay. So there are two different classes that is not related to that class. Suppose I want to access the property for that address class means we can access using aggregation. Okay. So for that reason, how to use. So these are the two different classes. customer class, and then customer class and then address class. The customer class is contain the constructor. So what type of constructor this one? This one is parameter constructor. So parameter constructor means how many argument they have. There are 3 argument, name, age, and then phone number. And then another 2 function is that is empty function, because I doesn't write anything. So and another one class. So that also it's contain constructor. So so that also contain another one class, address class. This contain so constructor, that also parameter constructor, door number, street, area, and the class mentioning that thing. So here I am mentioning the 2 classes. One is customer class and another one is address class. The both classes contain constructor. So what type of constructor? Parameter constructor. And just initializing. Okay. And then how to connecting the class aggregate. Here the customer class, I want to display that address about the details, door number, street, pin code means how to connecting the class. Let me see the example program, then you get a clear idea for that. Okay. So look at that. This is the program and the class customer. The constructor is the name, age, phone number. Okay. And another one is address is there, correct? So address, that is not a variable, that is object for the next class, address class. So self.address equal to, here we are mentioning address. Here the address code is there. So how to display those. So this is the example for aggregation. So you are creating address, because the address class is contain constructor. So the door number, street name, and then pin code is there. Okay. So here I am creating the 2 different objects for the address class, add 1 and add 2. Okay. Then how to access that address class property to a customer class means. So look at that. This is the customer class. The customer class is contain parameter constructor, name, age, phone number, and then address. So name, age, phone number, everything is a property, that is the custom class variables. The address is not an attribute, that is the object for that address class. Look at that. This is the address class, door number, street, pin code, and then update address is there. Here, so while I'm creating, so it will be start from here. I'm going to create object for that address class, add 1, add 2. There are 2 different objects here. Next, I'm going to create object for that customer class, customer. So it's contain name, age, and then pin code, and then AD1. So AD1, that is not an attribute, that is the object for that address class, AD1, right? So here I'm going to pass that object. So that is called aggregate. Here I'm mentioning that address. So using the address only we can access the door number and all. So let me see about the sample program for this one. So I'll run my program, and then I'll explain the small program for how to access the aggregation. Okay, so now I'm going to use my editor, Python IDLE editor. I think here you get a clear idea for this. So aggregation means here I'm going to create the function. I'm going to create one class, that is my first class. Okay, and then another one class, and then class. So look at this is the mark class. Consider this is a mark class, or else this is a staff class. This is admin class. So here it's contained on constructor, the staff class, DEF, and then what is that? Get mark. That's my function. Get marks contain. One is self argument and another one is M1 mark and M2 mark. Okay. Here I'm going to use S dot M1 equal to S dot M1 equal to M1 and S dot M2 equal to 90. Okay. So M2 equal to 90. So this is a parameter constructor. M1 equal to okay. So I'm going to write another one function playing value. Okay. So first I'm write simple code. Then I'm going so I'm going to display those values. So what are the two values is there? M1, M2. Here is print function S dot end and then print S dot end. Okay. Another function. This is constructor. Let me see. Take it up constructor. Okay. This is the parameter constructor, and then the classes contain one function display. So here I'm going to display M1, M2 value. So this is admin class. This class also contain constructor NIT. So this is the parameter constructor. Here I'm containing roll number and then the person name. Okay, so these are the two different classes. Roll number equal to roll and then S dot name to name. Correct. So here also I'm going to use display one function. So I'm going to display a number and then print S dot name. Correct. These are the two different classes. Okay, so these are the two different classes. Now I'm going to access the method to create object for this class is equal to snap. This is my first class. So it's contain parameter const. So S dot display function. Okay. And then another one, I'm going to create another one object for admin class. So admin, and then so this is also parameter constructor. So admin roll number and then name is correct. So roll number is and the name is some other name. Okay. So after that I'm going to call that function S dot display. Okay. So these are the two different classes. So both classes contain parameter constructor and display function. Okay. So this is the independent classes. So now ATG.py. Now I'm going to run the program. Just run my program. 3456 will be displaying, correct? So again I'm going to create object for this admin class. So S1 equal to admin, because this is the constructor. Here you should be mentioned double underscore, correct? Admin of roll number and the, okay, s1 dot. So my function name is display1. Save them and then run it. Run my program. Okay, 34, 56. That is mark 1 is 34 and mark 2 is 56. And then what is my roll number? 23 and color. Okay, so now I'm going to use aggregate. So what I want to display? I want to display name in staff class. How to access? There are two different codes. There are two different independent class. Correct? So anyway, now I'm going to access the property from admin class means. So here I'm going to call that object for that admin class. Okay. So what I want to do, look at that. Here I'm going to create object for that class. After that, M1 mark and M2 mark. After that, you're going to call the object. Okay, S1. S1 is so not the variable, that is the object for admin class. Here I'm going to mention S1. That is called aggregation. S1. Here I'm going to use S1 S dot S1 equal to S1. If I'm going to access the property means print S dot S1 dot, okay, S1 dot, what is the name, whatever you want to access. Okay, so we do one thing, we don't write it here, then you get an idea for that. Okay, so look at that. Look at that. So here the admin class is the admin class is contain parameter constructor. So roll number name is the, okay, the name I am going to access in staff class. So how to access the name in admin staff class means throw the object only. So that is called aggregation. Here I am going to pass the object for the admin class. So this is the object s equal to s dot s1. Then how to access the property in admin name class, name property in staff class means s dot. So s is the self variable, s1, that is our object, dot name. So that name will be displayed. So this is the way to access from one property to another one property from one class to another class using aggregation. Okay. So now I'm going to run my program to get out. Correct? So this is called aggregation. So let me see the program, then you get a clear idea for it. So this is the class, the contain customer and address. This is called the parameter constructor. So parameter constructor means what are the argument, name, age, phone number, address. The address is not a attribute, so that is the object name. And then here I'm going to display self dot address dot door number. The door number is address class properties. Correct? So just you are mentioning self dot variable name means that is the variable in placed in the particular class, the customer class. If I am mentioning middle of somewhere some other name means that is the class name. Here I am going to access the door number from which class? Address class. So for that reason here I am mentioning self dot address dot, here you have to mention that door number and then self dot address. Using the object only we can access n number of properties. Correct? So in my program also we can access roll number also. So roll number also we can access. We can access any attributes using the aggregate object. Okay. Suppose, so encapsulation. So encapsulation means what? So you are going to hide some values. So hiding is important. So hiding means, so how to hide the variable in this class? So if you are mentioning private means, so double underscore means, so that is called private variable. The private variable we cannot access outside of the class. If it is, the variable is private variable means we cannot access outside of the class, even though if it is, if you are using aggregate also, aggregation also we cannot access. You cannot access, correct? So the same program I'm going to run. So self dot double underscore. So double underscore means, so we can find out if the variable is contained before double underscore means, so that is called private variable. So private means we can access only within this class, we cannot access outside of the class, even though it is in a, aggregation or composition, whatever it is, we cannot access. Okay. Okay. So now I'm going to explain the program. So here I'm going to mention the variable is private. Private means before itself I have mentioned double underscore. If it is double underscore means, so that is called private variable. So we cannot access private variable in outside of the class, even though here I'm going to use aggregation. Aggregation also we cannot access. If I am going to access roll number means we can access, because the roll number is not a private variable. So that is public variable. So we can access using the object name only. So if we are mentioning name, so name is a private variable, we cannot access. So anyway, I'm going to run my program. So anyway, I'm going to run my program, run modules. Okay, it's showing error. Admin object has no attribute. Correct? Name. Suppose here instead of name, I'm going to hide that value. Hide the statement means here I'm mentioning hash symbol. The hash symbol is hiding the particular line. So here I'm going to trying to access roll number means you'll get an output. Look at that. So
And Jawahar, can you please check with the mentor once?
Sure, ma'am. 2 minutes. Hello, Neka ma'am.
Yes, Jawahar, am I audible?
The mentor will be coming within 2 minutes, ma'am. So you just lost the
Oh,
connection.
okay.
Nega ma'am, mentor is in attendees. Please add it into the channel. Hello, Nega ma'am. Can you hear me? Megha ma'am, can you hear me?
Yeah, hi Joy. Actually, my screen got stuck. Sorry, I'm just adding her.
No.
Requesting the mentor, can you please just raise your hand so that it would be easy for the visibility?
Yeah, okay. Ma'am. Shobana ma'am, please raise your hand.
Okay, got it. Others, please refrain any movements. It would be difficult for us to maintain.
Hello.
Yes, Shobna, please check you are having the presenter access now.
Yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am.
Okay.
Okay.
We can continue with the session, I think. Continue.
Okay. So going to access the private variable in outside of the class. So how to access the private variable in outside of the class means, so it is possible in order to access the private variable in outside of the class means we have to use getter and setter method. So each and every private variable is contains set method and get method. So set method is nothing but we are going to write the value, and get method is we are going to fetch the value. We are going to display those values. Okay, so the set method is always contain the function with argument type, and get method is always contain the return type, the function with return type format. Okay, here I am mentioning that the self variable is dot double underscore name equal to name and a return value. So here I am going to call my function. So we are going to initialize some values. S1 dot set name function. So here I'm going to initialize that value. Okay. Okay. Here you are going to pass the value. So now I'm going to access that value. So now I'm going to access. How to access means print s dot s1 dot, okay, set, sorry, get name. That is a function. So now I'm going to run my program. Name. It's a private function, so whenever you have to mention the private variable, a double underscore we have to mention, correct? Okay, here I'm going to access. Yes, sir.
Ma'am, actually the screen is invisible for me. Can you confirm with Megha ma'am also, ma'am? I don't.
Sorry.
Your
Yeah, it's
screen.
visible for me as well.
Okay, ma'am. Your screen is invisible, ma'am.
The screen is not visible.
Yes, ma'am.
Like you can just reshare it because it's like lagging in between.
Now it is visible.
No, ma'am.
Still now it's not visible.
Yes, ma'am. Please reload it, ma'am. It is just between our.
Now
Wait, ma'am.
still now the same problem, or it is visible.
No, ma'am. It is invisible for me. From I want to confirm with Megha also.
Yes, yes.
Me.
Megha, ma'am.
Yeah, it's visible to me now.
It's now visible.
Yeah.
Yeah, ma'am. Sobana, ma'am, you can continue.
Okay. Okay. So now I'm going to access the private variable in outside of the class using get method. So this is the admin class is containing Hello.
Ma'am, just 1 minute, ma'am. I will mute myself.
Yes.
I think meanwhile we can continue with the session.
Yes, Jawahar. Hello.
Yes, ma'am.
Can I continue?
Yeah, please continue, ma'am.
Yes. So here I'm going to access the private variable. So using the get method, set method, I'm going to write that name, and get method is fetching that value. How to access the private variable in staff class means s dot s1. So s1 is our object name dot get name. Okay, so directly if you are mentioning s dot s1 double underscore name means we cannot access the private variable. So suppose I want to access the private variable in outside of the class means we should be use set and get method. Set method is set the value, get method is are going to display that value. Now I'm going to run my program. We got out. Correct? Okay. Suppose I want to set the roll number also private variable means again you have to write set and get method for roll number. So how many variable you are declaring private variable? So each and every property, so every variable should be contain get method and then set method. Okay, so now I'm going to set method for roll number, set of roll. So here you have to mention s dot and then s dot double underscore roll equal to roll. We are assigning that value or writing that value. Again, I'm going to fetch that value, get roll, and then s. Here I'm going to use print. Sorry. So the get method is always a return value, a return of s dot double underscore roll. Okay. So whenever I had to write the private variable, so each and every variable is contained get and set method. Here I'm going to access. Suppose so I'm not using get of roll number directly. I'm going to access and trying to that roll number means it's showing error. Let me see. So what happened? So it's showing error. Correct. The roll number is that s1 dot roll number we cannot access because that is a private variable. So here you have to use. What you have to use? You have to use get method. So get method only is displaying those values. So that is the method. So for that reason here I'm mentioning open bracket and then close bracket. Okay. So this is the way to access the private variable to access in outside of the class. Okay. So in my program, it's contain two classes. One is staff class and then admin class. The admin class is contain parameter constructor, roll number name, roll number and name, and roll number and name. The both is contain private variable. So I'm going to access in some other classes means here I'm going to use set method and get method for each and every property. So roll number and name. So this is the program. And in staff class, I'm trying to access the private variable in admin class s1 dot get name. You display name and roll number also. Okay. Hello. Hello.
Yes, ma'am.
Yes. Okay. Okay. So those function is contain getter and setter. Okay. The private variable is access. So this is the same program here also they are mentioning, but this is the sample program. It's contain n number of private variable, door number, street, and pin code. Correct. So we have to write every variable. Door number it's contain get method, and then street also it's contain get method, and then pin code also contain get method, and everything is contain set method. Okay. And the next one is dependency via formal parameters. Dependency means one class is based on that second class. So that is called dependency. So independent means the both different classes. So it's working as usual. So dependency means one class is, you want to calculate something means it's based on class means dependency. Suppose in my program, so I'm going to write sample program for dependency. Suppose so I'm going to write my first class. So this is contain value, get value, okay, and s dot s dot a s dot s dot b equal to 2. Okay. So and then another one class is the class second. Okay. So def add of this. I'm going to start. Okay. Second, there are two different classes, but the second class is going to add some values, a and b values. So the a and b value is initializing in first class. So that is the second class is dependent on first class. Once the first class is working, the value is initialized, then only we can add. So that is called dependency. Okay, so it's dependent on some other class means, so dependency. Here they are mentioning one program. So the class is contained. Look at that. The class is contained customer class, the parameter constructor, self name, name, age, and parameter is there. And then purchase, this is another function. The payment or type equal to card. This is another one class. There are both different classes. Here you are mentioning self type. This is a parameter constructor for payment class. Okay. So you are going to create object for payment class, payment 1 equal to payment of card. After that, you are going to class customer Jack 23 So the constructor will be automatically invoked. After that, how to call the purchase function? Look at the purchase class, the purchase of payment, correct? The payment is object for that. What is that? The payment class, payment 1. So the payment 1, the value will be invoking here. Payment dot type. So the payment dot type means the card only is passing. So for that reason, sometimes class may depend on another class for some of its use. This is not relationship and hence won't appear in the class diagram. The below the customer class depend on the payment object for purchasing, correct? So the customer is a class, the payment object depend on the payment class. So here the payment is card means what I want to display. Else if the payment is wallet means what I want to display. So here I am going to write if else. Correct? So this is the value is and the customer class is function is working based on the payment class. So that is called composition. That is composition or dependency code. Static value also, if you are using dependency, that is a weak relationship. So we have some is there, you have to do itself, and then dependency, problem statement is there, exercise program, class diagram. Here they are mentioning what are the class and then what are the function is there, how to use, everything they are mentioning. So okay, so this is I want to start to print the attribute and values. So look at that. This is the program. So let me, what is the output of this program? So look at the program, class FOO. That is a class is contained on constructor. So that is a parameter constructor, number 1 and number 2. Correct? So here, hello. Yes, ma'am. Hello. Okay, so class is contained one parameter constructor. So the parameter constructor is contained num1 and num2, and then another one function. This is the built-in function, double underscore str double underscore self. Suppose I want to display those values means, so if you are writing the class function means def display or display one, you are going to write explicitly, correct? So those function you should be called explicitly, means object dot display, object dot whatever it is, you have to write explicitly, you have to call, no? So here that is a built-in function, double underscore str double underscore self, that is a built-in function. So when it will be invoked means, so while you are printing that object name, so whenever you have to print object, that function will be invoked. So which function? Double underscore str double underscore self function will be automatically invoked. Okay, so here f1 FOO 10, 20. So while I'm displaying that function, print F1, F2, F3 means, so first it displaying object name as well as that attribute name, num1 and num2 value. Okay. Yes. And then num1 and num2 value also displaying here. So let me see the program to get an idea. So this is a program, this is a class name. Here I am mentioning that constructor, so double underscore init. So double underscore. Okay, so this is self variable and then a value. So here I am going to display s dot a equal to 10. Okay, so another function. So normally we are writing display function, correct? S dot a, correct? After that, the because this is a class, normally we are calling that explicitly calling d dot display means, so what will be displaying? The color will be, sorry, the 10 will be displaying, correct? So let me see the example. py, the program, run module. Now I'm going to run my model, and the limit function is content. One argument.
Hello? Hello?
Hello.
Hello?
Hello. Okay, so here the constructor, the parameter constructor, the value is displaying. Now I'm going to run my program, run modules. The 10 will be displaying, correct? Suppose I'm going to use display function. I don't want to write explicit function. Here I'm going to write a def double underscore str and then double underscore self functions. So here I'm going to use print
Shobna, we lost your voice.
hello ma'am.
Yeah, you're audible now. Please continue.
So I got a keep annotation message. Okay, so here I'm going to write how to access the str function means. So this is my program, Deepa1. So Deepa1. So this is a contain one constructor, and then Deepa1. So this is contain one parameter constructor. So I'm going to initialize values. Okay. So another one function I'm going to write for displaying. So a def and then double underscore str double underscore self variable. So here I'm going to use print s.a. Okay. So after that I'm going to call create object for this Deepa1 class. Sorry. So this is the constructor double underscore init double underscore. Okay. So this is the parameter constructor. I'm going to initialize some values 34. So and then directly I'm going to use print of d. I'm not using the while you are calling print d, the function double underscore str function will be automatically invoked. So whenever you have to try to print the object value, the str double underscore str function to be invoked. Okay. So I'm going to save my program. So now I'm going to run my program. Look at the you got the same thing in self dot self return. So self function you should be contain return of str of self double underscore dact. So this is the built-in function. The str function is always the str always contain return type str of self, then only displaying the value. Okay. And then the same thing, the static counter we have to use. So what are the variable you are declaring inside the class? So it's considered as a class static variable. So this is the assignment for a class diagram static, and then another one also static. Okay. So this is the problem statement. there are 3 different classes is there. So here they are directly mentioned what are the attribute, what are the function, what type of constructor we have to use, that and all mentioned. Right. Okay. This is for example for aggregation function, because I want to display freight and customer details means we have to use aggregate. This is also one problem statement, the payment money and receive item, receive the purchase bill. There are 3 different classes is there, customer class and bill class, item class. So you have to create the 3 different classes, and then what are the attribute is there, what are the function. So you have to mention whether they are directly mentioned what is the static variable, what are the attribute you have to display, what you have to display, everything they are mentioning. You just create the object and then you just call that function, that only. Okay. Now again they are mentioning. So first you have to get a clear idea for what is a static variable. If I'm not mentioning any values for the static values, so default it will take 0. Suppose you are going to change the static value instead of 0, so directly you are initializing int a equal to 90 or a equal to 50 means the value has to be taken. Okay. This is the static example only. So static method. So here static method they are mentioning. Static method means so it doesn't contain self argument. So that is called static method. How to invoke the static method? Using class name itself. You don't need for create object for that static method. Everything is a static. So every variable, the static mentioning. So the 4 variable you should be declare inside the class. So if you are declare inside the method means, so that is called self variable. So that is called class variable. Whenever you create the object, the value is automatically initializing. So what is the first value that will be automatically initializing? If you are mentioning the variable inside the class means, so that is called static variable. Those value is shared. How many object you are created? All the object is shared same static variable. Okay, the value is returning for each and every object. This is the object relation and aggregation. And next one is inheritance. So inheritance means we can keep common property in a single place. Thus, any changes need not be repeated. Okay. Inheritance encourage code reuse the saving as time. So the inheritance, the main thing is the code reusability. Okay. If you want to add to new type of phone later, and we can simply inherit the phone class instead of writing it from scratch. Correct? So now I'm going to create. There are different type of inheritance is there. There are single inheritance and multiple inheritance, multi-level inheritance, hierarchical inheritance. There are different inheritance there. Okay. So this is a program. So this is not inheritance type. So this is a sample program. There are 3 different classes is there. That is the dependence. This is independent classes. So we have to create object for each and every classes. Then invoke all the function. What are the function you to be invoked? You create the object and then you have to call that function. Okay. So this is not a dependency. Okay. So this is also another program. So before itself, you get an idea for what is inheritance, how to create inheritance, and how to create single inheritance. So single inheritance means so only one base class and one derived class. The first class is called base class and second one is called derived class. Okay. So we have to create object for derived class. We know for create object for base class. Using derived object only we can access the base class property. So for example, in my program is contained. So how to a single inheritance class. Single inheritance means there are 2 classes is there. Okay. The first class parent class is base. The first class is called parent class and then second class is called class. The second class is called child class. or else it is called base class, and then second one is called derived class. This is the structure for single inheritance. This is the structure for single inheritance. So single inheritance means there are two classes in our program. So the first one is called base class or parent class, and second one is called derived class. Okay. So when you are using that single inheritance means, so mostly the inheritance we are going to use code reusability. Suppose the parent class is contain the value a comma b. Okay. The child class, I'm going to add a plus b. Okay, I'm going to fetch the value from the base class. The value is I'm going to initialize parent class. So those values directly I'm getting from parent class. So that is inheritance. So we no need for write again in child class, we no need for again get the value in A and B values. So instead of, we are going to fetch the value from the base class, from the parent class. Okay. So this is the structure for single inheritance. Now I'm going to implement the single inheritance type. So can you visible my screen? Hello? Hello? Hello?
Yes, Shobna, yes, you are audible.
Ma'am, my screen is visible now?
Yes, it's visible
Hello?
to me. If Rahat can
Yes.
confirm.
Okay. So the first class is base class and second class is derived class. Here I'm going to inherit the base class properties. Okay. So the first one is base and second one is derived class. So here in the base class, I'm going to get the value, get function. Okay. Here I'm going to initialize some value s dot a equal to 10 and then s dot b equal to 90. Okay. So the base class is contain only get function. The class is contain one get function. Inside the class, inside the function, I'm just initializing value s dot a, s dot b. So here I'm going to add the two numbers in derived class. So here, for that reason, here I'm mentioning which class properties you are going to access. Base class. The class name is base. The class name is user defined name. You'll give any other name. Suppose you are giving that first one. Here you have to mention the name. Okay. The class name is user defined name. You'll give any other name. So now I'm going to add. I'm going to calculate. So here I'm going to add the function add of s. Here print s dot a plus s dot b. Okay. There are two different classes. The derived class is related to the first one, correct? So we are going to create object for derived class. So derived class means the second one is called derived class. So using derived object only, we can access the base class properties. So here I'm going to create object for the derived class d1 equal to der. So first I'm going to get the value, then only I'm going to add function. So d1 dot get and then d1 dot add. Okay. Okay. So first we are going to call d1 dot get means is going to check automatically in derived function, derived class only. The derived class, it doesn't contain get method, then it's going to check while the definition of the class first one is there, no? So then again it's going to the check first one class. The first one is contain get method or not. If it is get method is there, that function will be invoked. Okay. So now I'm going to say my program, and this is single inheritance, single dot py. So What happened? DER is my class name. Suppose this class is contained this means and get it done. So instead of DER, I'm mentioning first one. So this is a simple only one class. I'm calling that function. Let me check whether it will be working. Outer intern level. S dot A equal to 10 and then S dot B equal to 90, correct? So now when I want to write it, sorry, this is a function called get, and this is a function called add function, add of simple, and then print S dot A plus S dot B, correct? Okay, add the function. What happened? The indentation is very important in my Python. Still now it's not seeing problem. Save my program and then run it. Okay. So if you are mentioning the indentation is important. So the first function df is starting from here means the second also you are at the same intern level. Suppose you are mistaking something. Suppose your intern like that means it's showing here. Look at that. The indentation is very important in Python program. Okay. So the first function is start from here. Here also the second. So how many function you have written? The same intern level should be maintained. Okay, so this is the same class. So suppose the add function I'm going to write another one class ACC, and then I have to mention first one. Okay, here we have to create object for second. I'm going to run my program. Okay, the get method. The get method, the value is first you are going to call the get method d1 object. The value is initializing. Hello students, please be silent. S dot A value is 10, S dot B equal to 90, and the second one is derived class ACC first one, and then we are going to add value def add of S print S dot A plus S dot B. Okay, so this is the simple single inheritance. Single inheritance means the first class properties you are going to access in the second class. So using add function S dot A plus S dot B. Okay. So suppose the base class is contained parameter default constructor means suppose the base class is contained parameter default constructor means double underscore init is that a value, and then second one you no need for call the function. Okay, so you are creating object for the second class. The second class is automatically calling. The second class is doesn't contain default constructor. The base class is contain default constructor means those constructor will be invoked automatically. Then the add function will be work. Okay. Okay. Suppose so there are here also the second class also contain default constructor. The second class also is contain default constructor means what will be happen? Let me see. So DEF, and then here I'm going to mention. So initialize value. So instead of here I'm mentioning 2, and then here I'm mentioning 9. Okay. Look at that. So it's automatically take the derived class constructor only. If it is the base class also contain default constructor and derived class also contain a default constructor means, so while you are creating the object for second class means the derived class. So the derived class constructor is the higher priority. This is second class, the derived class default constructor will be work. Those value has taken. So for that reason here and 2 9 will be displayed here. Okay. Suppose you are going to fetch base class properties means here you have to use super function, super dot double underscore init double underscore. Okay. Look at that. So the super method is there. The super method to be called the base class constructor or base class function also. So if I am going to call from derived class constructor to base class constructor. So here it will be take 10 and 90 value. 10 plus 90 is 100 will be displayed. Correct? And then the same thing, the super method used to call the base class constructor or base class function. Suppose the base class is contained some other function for displaying AB value, we have to use def display function is there. Okay, here I'm going to display s dot a and then print s dot b. Okay, so there are two ways to call the display function. So directly we had to call using object. So d1 dot display function. Okay. Run the program. So indentation. Okay, sorry, here function calling. Okay, first the odd function will be first. What will be happen? You are going to call the constructor SEC, so it's automatically going to check the derived class is contain any other constructor. Yes, the derived class is contain the constructor. That is the constructor that is going to work. So inside the default constructor, I'm going to call the base class, the super class, base class constructor, super of double underscore init. So it's automatically called the base class constructor, default constructor. And the next one is add function that will be displaying. Again, you are going to call d1.display also. So what is the value for value? 10 and 90 will be displaying. Okay, so this is another method. So inside the constructor also we can call the method. So normal base class method. So how to call the method is super dot display. Okay. So we had to call constructor means super dot init function. You have to mention if you are calling that method means super, the super function. So why you are using the super means, so what is the use of super method means you had to call the base class method or you had to call the base class constructor, whatever it is, you have to use super method here. Okay. And suppose the class is contained, this class also is contain parameter constructor. Okay, so another one example for a super function. So this is the class. Okay, so here I'm going to write on constructor. constructor. So what is the s dot a equal to u? Okay. So here I'm going to call another function for area of square formula a into a. Here I'm going to use print area of square. Here I'm mentioning s dot a into s dot e, correct? So and then I'm going to write a derived class. So here also it's contain parameter constructor df double underscore init. So it's contain two argument is a comma b. So how to initialize value s dot a equal to a and s dot b equal to b, and then df double underscore and find out area area 1 as self variable. Print area of rectangle means a into b. So consider a value is L and b value is b. Okay. Area of rectangle L into b. Here contain s dot a into s dot b. Correct? Okay. So now I'm going to call the function. So now I'm going to create object for that derived class. So my derived class name is DER1. So it's contain parameter constructor. Correct? So just a simple value 2, 3 and then find out g dot area 1. Okay. So let me see what will be happen. Now I'm going to run my program. So the area of rectangle will be work, correct? So the area of rectangle is 6. 2, 3. The constructor. Hello?
आता फोन एंजॉय करायचा
Hello?
Ma'am, students,
Hello? Students,
ఎంత
students,
students,
please be silent.
students.
Students, please mic off.
You have
Yes, that
SPOC from every colleges.
Attendees, I request you to please be on mute. I can't just point you to each and every people again and again. My screen is being stuck. So requesting everyone to please maintain the decorum and please continue with the session. Yes, Shobna, please continue.
Yes, the derived class, I'm going to create an object for this derived class DER1. So my object name is g dot area 1. Okay, so it's automatically area of rectangle a into b, 2 into 3, 6 will be work. So you got output 6, correct? Suppose I want to access the area of square. I want to call the base class constructor also means. So what we have to do inside the constructor, parameter constructor, I'm going to call this constructor. So what function we had to use? We had to use the super function, super of, correct? Super dot double underscore init and then double underscore what I want to pass a value, correct? So the a value is automatically passing the constructor. The area of square will be open. So here I'm going to call g dot area. So now I'm going to run my program. Okay, the area of square also working. Got it? So this is a way to call from one constructor to another constructor. So here in my program, it's contain two classes. The first is base class and second one is derived class. The base class is contain the parameter constructor. The parameter constructor is contain only one. I'm going to find out the area of square. So what is the formula for area of square? A into E. Okay. So another one derived class is that the derived class also is contain parameter constructor. It's contain two argument. So inside the constructor, I'm going to call the base class constructor super dot init of A. So the two value is passing here. Suppose you want to calculate the B value, means instead of A, you are passing the B value, means the 3 will be passing. So the constructor will be has taken the B value 3, and then area of square is 3 into 3 has taken. So here there are two argument is there. How many argument you had to pass based on the constructor? So the base class constructor is containing only one argument. So for that reason here I'm going to pass the value. Okay. So this is the way to call the constructor from one class to another class. So this is a single inheritance. So single inheritance means only one base class and then only one derived class is. So using, you have to create object for derived class. So using derived object only, we can access base class properties. Okay. And then we can create n number of object for the derived class. Suppose in my program is contained. So another example for a single inheritance F1. So this the class is contained. Sorry, get admin one function is there. Okay. Yes, dot roll number equal to mentioning the roll number, and then yes dot name equal to mentioning some other name. Okay. And then another one function is the def, and then get mark. Okay. So this is also here. So consider this is the admin class. This is the admin class. Get mark. So here I am going to fetch the value 3 subject mark s dot m1 equal to 90, and then s dot m2 equal to 78. Okay. There are two functions, one is get admin and then get mark. The get admin is contain roll number and name. Get marks is contain only two subject, m1 mark and m2 mark. So, and then I'm going to find out and derived class. In the derived class, I'm going to find out total for this get mark m1, m2, and then I have to find out average function, and then I have to find out a result function. Okay. And then I have to find out grade also. There are 4 different functions I'm going to use a derived class. So based on the base class properties. So admin properties, because the value is just initializing in admin class. So for that reason, I'm going to fetch value in admin. So here I'm going to use admin class, base class name. I'm going to use def total function is a, where I'm going to use s dot total equal to s dot m1 plus s dot m2. M1, M2 value, that is not a staff class variable. So it is an admin class properties. Here I am extend that admin class. So for that reason, here we can access the property M1 and M2. Okay. And then another one function is there. So here total display function is there. So this is a way to write a program. So in my program, it's contain n number of function. It's a calculation, manipulation. There are n number of function means first you have to check whether the total is working. So if it is the total function is working normally, then you implement next function, and the next you have to implement next function. Don't write entire function inside the class and then call means it's showing n number of errors. First you have to check one function, the function is invoked, correct, the function is working properly, then you go to implement next function. Okay. So here I am going to, this is also self variable, because whenever you have to write the class method, self variable, here I am going to use print. Okay, I want to display mark 1. So s dot m1 and then print mark to s dot m2. Okay, and then I have to print total also, print total s dot total function. Okay. Okay, so now I'm going to check the every function is working correct. So here I'm going to create object for staff class is the staff. So I'm going to initialize value. So here I have to display roll number, name also. You can use it. Print roll number is the roll. And then I want to display name also. Print name is the name. Okay. After that I'm going to create, after that I'm going to call the function. The first function is get admin. So I have to call any other order. First, if you want to call get mark also, it is possible. Yes, the get admin and then get mark function. So after that I'm going to call total function. Then I'm going to call display function. Correct? Same program. And now I'm going to run my program, run my module. So intern level it should be match. Okay, so roll number is 12 and the name is Kala and mark 1 is 90 and mark 2 is 78. So what is the total value? The total value is 1.
Jawahar, can you check with Shubman if he's joining back? We'll ask him again.
Neha ma'am, can you hear me?
Yeah, you're audible. Yeah.
Yeah, 1 minute, ma'am. I'll confirm the comment.
Okay.
Seated one there.
Megha ma'am, the mentor will join with 2 minutes. Just he lost his connection. Megha ma'am, is I audible?
Yes, Jawahar.
Yes ma'am. The mentor will join within 2 minutes, ma'am.
Okay, please let me know when she's there so that I can add her again to the panelist.
Yeah, sure.
Meanwhile, I'll request the audience to please maintain the decorum. We will be just starting it again within 2 minutes. Meanwhile, you can drop in your queries or any of your questions if you have in the Q&A section.
Neha ma'am, please add Shobna ma'am to the panelist, ma'am.
Shobna, can you please raise your hand so that I can just add you directly? Requesting others to please lower your hands so that I can identify the educator easily. Yeah, Shobna, I have assigned you the presenter access. Please check if you are able
Okay.
to access.
Okay.
Shobana, ma'am?
Yes, sir.
Yeah, 2 minutes, ma'am. Just I will give the today's assessment. Students, everyone, please listen. In the question and answer chat box, there is 10 questions. Please copy those questions and make a document. Okay. So once you find out the answer, please make a document and keep it yourself. So once when we need it, we will ask you. Okay. Please copy those questions. Thank you, Sopana ma'am. We can continue.
Yes, Shobna, you can start the session.
Okay. Okay.
Your screen is not.
Yes, it's
Yeah,
visible.
it's visible.
Okay. So this is the average function, dvf average, and then display. Now I'm going to run my program. You'll get output, correct? 12, and then name, and then 2 subject mark, and then total, and then average. So what is that? Divide and double slash. Divide means it's automatically written. Float values. The floor division means the double slash is called as a floor division. The floor division is written only whole number, written only integer value. Okay, whole number. Then I'm going to check the pass fail. The mark is, the both subject mark is greater than 35. I have to display pass. Otherwise, I want to display fail. So again, I'm going to check another one function. So my function name is result. Yes, here I'm going to check if I'm going to check each and every subject s1.m1 greater than or equal to 35 and s.m2 greater than or equal to 34. If it is pass, so don't forget to write colon symbol and of the statement. So the both subject mark is greater than 35. Here I want to find it res, that is my variable is pass, or else colon. So I have to display result is fail. Okay. So those values also display in my display function. So here I'm going to write print function, print of what is it? Result s dot res. So here I'm going to display those comma. I'm going to give us some space and then s dot res. Okay. So don't forget to call. So you had to call average. So before the display function, I'm going to call a result function. Then only the code will be invoked. Now I'm going to run my program. Sorry, here we have to use AND operator. No attribute. Yes. Here, whatever it is, you have to mention the self variable as just self. So if you are not mentioning self means, so what will be happen? So that considered as a private variable. So private variable means the result value only access inside the result function only. We cannot access s dot or es here, result variable. Okay. So if you are mentioning s dot, the self variable, then only that consider as a class variable, then only take the current object value. So why I'm mentioning s means I'm going to access this variable in another one function. So if I don't want to access here means you just mention res here itself. Okay. 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 The result is pass. Okay. So this is the way to write a program. Inheritance means only one class, then only one derivative. So using, so we no need for create object for every classes. You just create object for derived class. Using derived object only, we can access base class function also. In my program, the base class is contain two function, admin function and get function. The admin function is, what is that? Admin function is get admin, get mark, and the staff class is, we are going to manipulate those values. So total, average, and then class, everything you had done. Okay. So instead of here get admin, I'm going to use constructor also, it will be one. This is single inheritance. Okay. And then another one is single inheritance, and then hierarchical inheritance, and then multi-level inheritance, and then multiple inheritance also is there. So next we will see about hierarchical inheritance. So the hierarchical inheritance means only one base class and then two different classes. So let me see about the structure for the hierarchical inheritance. Hierarchical inheritance means, so look at that. So I'm going to write another one class. So one base class and then it contains multiple derived class. So that is called hierarchical inheritance. Okay. This is another one child class. So here I'm going to calculate A minus B. Got it? The same resource, A comma B, the same resource, I'm going to access more than one class. So that is called hierarchical inheritance, only one base class and then two different classes. Okay. So can we try this program? Hierarchical inheritance. So I'm going to write. So whenever you have to write inheritance concept, first you have to mention the structure. Then only you have to implement. Then you have an idea. Class and then second. And the class second is first argument, correct? And then I'm going to write another one class. Third, this class also extend the first class, correct? So okay, so I'm going to get value here. So before itself, I don't want to write anything, means just write the pass. The pass is nothing but that class is empty. Here I'm going to get the value, def get value, get of s. I'm going to initialize value s dot a equal to 12 and s dot b equal to 8. Okay. So here I'm going to add the two numbers. Def add, here I mentioned self variable, print s dot a plus s dot b. Okay, so first I'm going to check whether the function is working or not. So it's just a check the first and second, means it look like a single inheritance, correct? So we are going to create object for the second class. So s equal to second. So second is my derived class. So s dot get function and then s dot add function. The value is fetching and then display. Okay. So I'm going to run my program. So just I'm displaying that value, added value 12 plus 8, 20 will be displaying, correct? Okay, so after that I'm going to implement here the same a and b value also fetch here. That function is subtraction program, sub of s print s dot a minus s dot b. Okay, so here you have to create object for the third class, s1 equal to third. So here I'm going to call s dot get function. Sorry, so where object name is s1, s1 dot get, and then you have to call s1 dot subtraction sub. Okay, got it? So the same resource I'm going to access more than one class, means we have to use hierarchical inheritance. Okay, here the first class attribute is access in second class as well as third class. Okay, so you just hide the third class, means it's look like a single inheritance. The first is a base class and second is a derived class. Suppose you are hiding the second class, is you just hide the second class, First class is base class and third class is the derived class, correct? So you should be create object for the both class, the second class and the third class. Okay. Hierarchical inheritance. Hierarchical means only one base class. We can create n number of derived class. But so n number of derived class you are creating, no? So how many derived class you are creating? You should be create object for separate derived class. Then you can access base class property as well as the derived class function also. Okay. So suppose you are mentioning that instead of get function, you are mentioning constructor means what will be happen? INIT is okay. So here you don't want to call the get function, correct?
Sorry.
Okay, because the add function and subtraction function will be automatically working. Because whenever you have to create object for the second class, first is going to check the second class is contain any other constructor, either default or parameter. It doesn't contain the constructor. It is just checking the inheritance class, the first class. The first class is contain the constructor. Yes, it's have the constructor, the default constructor. The constructor will be invoked. Then only it's called the normal class method. Add function will be called. Okay. So if it is constructor means it automatically invoked. That is a simple thing. Automatically means you don't need for called explicitly. That is a simple way. Okay. This is hierarchical inheritance. Okay, students, there are a lot of exercise and lot of problem statement is there. So we had to do the day itself and then complete and then submit everything. Okay. This is a single inheritance and then this is hierarchical inheritance. So multiple inheritance means more than one base class, one derived class. So that is called multiple inheritance. Suppose the classes contain, so just I'm changing here. So multiple means more than one base class, one derived class. This consider this is also one class. Okay. There are two classes is there in my program. Get and then this the class is contain get one. Here I am going to initialize s dot c equal to 9, s dot d equal to 7. Okay. So here the third class I am going to the hierarchy I'm going to inherit the two class properties. So I'm going to add the value s dot a plus s dot b plus s dot c plus s dot d. Okay. So I'm going to create object for third class. No need for create object for second class because so here the only one derived class is the third class and first and second class are base class. So add function before itself you had to call s dot get function and then another function is s dot get one function. Okay. This is multiple inheritance. So multiple inheritance means more than one base class, one derived class. Here I am using the two base class, first and second class, and third one is derived class. Okay. So this is what type of inheritance. This is multiple. Multi means many. Multiple inheritance. Okay, the first and second class, and third one is derived class. You are going to initialize the first class and then second class. Going to add a def add s dot a s dot b. You can access the third class is you can access the first class properties as well as second class properties also. Okay. So what about the today's session? Today's session is what is static variable and then what is the static method how to access static variable and using class name only, class name dot variable name, and then static method. What is static method? So using the class name only we can access the static method, and the next we'll see about what are the things: inheritance and aggregate function, and then composition function. So aggregation means I am going to access one class property to another class property. Okay, so that is we have to use that aggregation. And composition means the one class output is based on the second class, means that is called composition. And the next one inheritance. So the inheritance means to acquiring data one class to another class. So we can access the non-private variable to another classes. There are different inheritances. The first one is single inheritance, and the next we'll see about multi inheritance, and the next we'll see about the hierarchical inheritance. Correct? These are the different inheritances. You have to do it yourself. What are the things you have seen? So there are sample program is there. You practice it, and then lot of problem statement, and then test is there. You have to submit the day itself. Then we can follow that. Next, what are the things will be more? Okay. And single inheritance, multiple inheritance, and then hierarchical inheritance, and then multi-level inheritance. So multi-level inheritance means the level by level. So multi-level means this is the first class. Now I'm going to get the first class properties. Here I'm going to add the value. S dot C equal to S dot A, sorry, S dot A plus S dot B plus S dot C. Okay. S dot B. And then the third class in inheriting second class properties, that is called level by level. Here I am going to multiply that value S dot C into S dot C. So we have to create an object for third class. We can access remaining class properties also. S dot C into S dot C. Okay. So we have to call get one function and then instead of main function. This is called multi-level inheritance. So multi-level is the second class is base class is first one, the third class base class is second one. That is level by level. So that is called, this is called multi-level inheritance. Multi-level. Okay. So here, if you want to display here, so you can write the print addition. S dot A, sorry, S dot C. You want to display multiplication. Okay. Okay. So here you have to display A value, B value also. We can write. Okay. After that, we have to call the function get function, and then we have to call display function. So A and B value also displaying here. So the indentation is important. Okay. This is multi-level inheritance, single inheritance, multiple inheritance, and then hierarchical inheritance, and then hybrid inheritance. There are a lot of inheritances. Okay, so we have to get an idea for this. How to get the value, how to declare the variable, and how to access the variable to another class. So what are the main things we have to find out? The inheritance means the code reusability is very important things. So we no need for create object for every classes. So we have to create object for derived class. Using derived object only we can access the base class properties. Okay. Okay. And then how to use constructor. So inside the class, we can write constructor, parameter constructor, and default constructor, and every constructor we can write. Okay. Hello.
Yes, Sophie.
Yes, ma'am. Okay. So these are the different. Okay. Single inheritance, multi-level inheritance, and multiple inheritance. Suppose in your class is contain single inheritance, we can contain what is that? Static variable means you can access the static variable. How many times you are creating that object inside the constructor or inside the function. I'm going to call admin dot a equal to admin dot a plus 1. Okay. Admin dot a plus 1, the value will be displayed. So when you have called the function, it will be automatically. Okay. Program we can access this is sample XML constructor, constructor there, another function is there. So what type of thing is this one? Base class and then n number of classes. This is multiple inheritance. So you are going to call the function displaying, buying a phone will be displaying. Okay, so from code perspective, child class inherit the constructor, non-private attributes and non-private method only you can access, right? The sample example, there are a lot of sample programs there. This is also another example. Inheriting constructor. As you know, inheriting constructor from one constructor to another constructor. So we can use super method, the same program only here they are mentioning. And a child class cannot directly access the private attribute of the parent class. Right? The private variable we cannot access another class properties. Even private also, if you are using getter setter method, we can access. Same thing. This is method overriding. So method overriding means the same class function name is you are using the two different classes. The base class also contain the by function and derived class also is contain by function means, so that is called overriding. Okay, so automatically it will be where derived class function. It doesn't take base class function. Okay. Sometimes the child may not want to use what it has inherited from the parent. The same hold true of it as well. If the child class does not want to use the method inherited from the parent class, then it may create its own method with the same name. Okay. So that is called method overriding. So this will come under polymorphism concept. So when while the base class is contain some other function, the function is totally wrong means we no need for correct everything. You just create one derived class, the same function you are mentioning means those function will work, the base function is doesn't work. So let me see the example for overriding concept. Simple example for overriding. So this is the class. This is the class. Just I am writing this. Okay, print. And just write the base class and names. Here also you have to mention this. This is called overriding. The function name same and the number of argument also same, but different classes with any other inheritance. Look at that. The dysfunction is contained both base class as well as derived class, correct? Okay, so the derived function will be automatically working. Whenever you have this is called overriding. So overriding means write down the definition for overriding. So overriding. So overriding command polymorphism means polymorphism concept. So the polymorphism means it's contain many form. Okay. So this is function overriding. Overriding means the function name same, argument also same, but different classes. with any other inheritance. Here, this is function over. Function name same. Here the dis and dis is same, and then argument also same. So here also the function with no argument type. Here also the function with no argument type with any other inheritance. Yes, it's inherit Rani class. So this is single inheritance concept, correct? This is function overriding. Okay. There are three. This is called overriding concept. Function name same, number of argument also same, but different classes with inheritance concept. Okay, this is single inheritance. If you are using multi-level, multiple inheritance also we can use. Here the same program, the by function we are written. Okay, it is overriding. There are a lot of multiple choice question is there. You have to do the super method, constructor, super constructor, and then inheritance. So inheritance improve the code reuse. The constructor attributes method get inherited to the child class. The parent has no access to the child class. The private property of parent are not accessible directly in the child class. So directly in the child class means how to access the private property in the child class means using getter and set method. Okay, the child class can override the attribute or method. This is called method overriding. The last we have seen the method overriding, the dysfunction, and super is inbuilt function which used to invoke the parent class method or concept. The same inheritance and super method. Super method to call the base class method as well as the is the class diagram. So you have to create the class. So whatever class you have to mention and then attribute also mention. The problem statement is there. There are a lot of exercises there. You have to do yourself. Inheritance type, correct? Single inheritance means only one base class, one child class. Multi-level means level by level. Parent, child, grandchild. Hierarchical means one base class, we can create n number of derived class. And multiple inheritance means more than one base class, one child class. So sample program also we have seen. This is a sample programs. Okay, paragraphs. Multi-level inheritance, hierarchical inheritance. So hierarchical inheritance means one base class, one derived class, correct? So hierarchical means one base class. Okay. So these are the different concepts in inheritance. What are the aggregate function, composition concept, and then inheritance concept. So inheritance, there are different types: single, multiple, multi-level, hierarchical. So we have seen the lot of program, and then this session is contain lot of exercise and then problem statement and then multiple choice question is there. So you had to do yourself the day itself. You had to complete everything. Okay, okay, students. Okay, okay. Thank you. Hello.
Yeah, sure.
Yes, ma'am.
Thank you so much. So
Yes,
we'll
ma'am.
just wait for 2 more minutes if anyone is having any query or any doubt. Else we will wrap up the session by 3:30.
Hello, Megha ma'am.
Yes, sure.
Yeah, if I want to share something. Okay,
I will.
yeah, students, please listen. So I have give 10 questions. You no need to answer in the question and answer chat box. Okay. So just copy these questions and keep it yourself. Once you find the answer, just document yourself. Okay, document means you can save it in a Microsoft Word or Google document, or you can save the document and keep it yourself. When we need, we will ask it. Okay, that's it. Answer the question in the question and answer part. Just I give the question only. Just copy it and keep it yourself, and try to find the answer and make the document. Thank you, ma'am.
Thank you.
Thank you so much, Shobna and Jawahar. And thank you everyone for attending the session today. If there is no questions, we can wind up. And we'll see you in the next session. If you still have any doubts or any queries, you can drop it into the section. Just a last request to the SPOCs, kindly share the attendance in the Q&A section itself. Thank you so much. Have a good day.
Thank you, Megha ma'am. Thank you, Shobana.
Thank you. Thank you.